We are this close to the conference finals. So all I have to say is, to any one of those teams that could possibly make it, and to the Nashville Predators, come on! You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts! Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Hockey Happy Hour. We are live from the BMW of Atlantic City Studios here in Mount Ephraim, New Jersey. And we are brought to you by Scanzano Sports Center, located in 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com.
I love the Batman quote. I'm just going to throw it out there. I love the Batman quote.
Yeah.
It's my heart right there, Batman.
Yes. All right, folks. It is that time of the year. The playoffs are still in full swing. The semifinals are slowly coming to a close. We've got 2 series that are going to 7 games, the first 2 to do so. And we have a matchup tonight against the New York Rangers and the Ottawa Senators. This could be the final matchup of that series. Will it be? Well, that's up to the Rangers to decide, as they are looking down on the wrong side of a 3-2 deficit as the Ottawa Senators look to clinch this series and move on to the Eastern Conference Finals to face either the Pittsburgh Penguins or the Washington Capitals. And as for the West, Bryant's Anaheim Ducks battling it out with the Edmonton Oilers one more time. Could not avoid the Game 7 at all. Just could not avoid the Game 7. And they will battle it out to see who will face the Nashville Predators, who have gotten over that hump that they faced last year. They hit that hurdle against the San Jose Sharks. They cleared it this year, beating the St. Louis Blues. And now, Peter Laviolette's Nashville Predators are in the Western Conference Finals, just 4 wins away for making their first ever Stanley Cup Finals appearance. For the Ottawa Senators, if they wound up going to the Eastern Conference Finals tonight, it would be their chance to get back into the Stanley Cup Finals for the first time since 2007, I do believe.
You would believe right, against my Anaheim Ducks, which I kind of hope would be a repeat, because I think that'd be kind of cool.
It would be. And it would be a much stronger Ottawa Senators team facing the Ducks this time.
With a much better goaltender.
Yeah, than the Ray Emery, Daniel Alfredson-led, watered-down version of that dominant Senators team from back in the early 2000s. But that is that. Tonight, gentlemen, the Ottawa Senators, the New York Rangers. The battle for the first spot in the Eastern Conference Finals could come to a close tonight as the Ottawa Senators take on the New York Rangers at 7:30 to see who will walk away with this win. Will we see another Game 7 back in Ottawa or in MSG? Will the New York Rangers suffer a tough blow and take a tough pill to swallow and lose a tight series?
Well, the problem with this whole series has been the road team hasn't won yet.
This is true.
So the home team definitely has the advantage in this entire series, and I think it's going to continue. I was wrong last week thinking that the Rangers weren't going to come back in this series. I do, however, believe that the Ottawa Senators winning that overtime game the other night at home was huge, gave them back the momentum. And I think Ottawa will come back and end this series tonight.
So you think Ottawa will be the first road team to get the win in this series, and in doing so, will finish this series off. Do you think it will be in overtime? Because they had a game that did go to overtime, and it was a kind of a comeback win for Ottawa, winning 6-5 in double overtime.
It was, I believe that was, Saturday night, that game?
It was Saturday night, April 29th. It was Game 2 in Ottawa, and the Senators came back and managed to defeat the New York Rangers 6-5. And that's a ridiculous score, by the way. One side having Henrik Lundqvist in goal, and the other side having Craig Anderson in goal. That's off nights for both goalies on that one, just letting in that many.
Oh, I agree. Defense was not there that night, and it's just – I don't think this game's going to overtime. I think Ottawa wins it in regulation.
Okay.
I think it's going to be a very tight game, though, because it's been a very tight series throughout the – and I don't think Game 6 is going to be any different.
Well, Game 5 also ended in overtime as well, as that matchup, which was this past Saturday on May 6th. Ottawa defeated the Rangers again, this time 5-4, a little bit closer of a score. Still pretty high, though, in just one overtime period. So Ottawa has the overtime record. So if it does go to overtime, Ottawa's 2-0 against the New York Rangers in overtime. But can you really make that excuse and throw that record out there? Because anything can happen in overtime at any second, and then your team's out. Possibly. But the Ottawa Senators tonight against the New York Rangers, big matchup live in MSG in Madison Square Garden, the world's most famous arena. Can the New York Rangers survive, keep this home record of theirs going in the right direction in this series, and then be the first road team to get a win in Ottawa so they can advance to the Eastern Conference Finals? Well, that's all going to matter and depend on, like you said, Brian, defense, if Henrik Lundqvist can stand on his head, and more importantly, if the offense can stay dominant. Because the offense for the New York Rangers was doing just fine, and it's been fine in this series. It's just that Ottawa just kept coming back, and they weren't able to hold them. But their offense has not been missing. They've scored a lot of goals. I mean, you're looking at these scores here, it's almost an average of 4 per game. Yeah. So that's it's not the offense that's the lacking. It's the fact of Ottawa just keeps coming back, and the defense of the Rangers just can't seem to hold them back.
No, the defense of the Rangers has been a little suspect. But if you're comparing these two teams, I want to say that the Rangers have the way better defense, but Ottawa's offense has just been clicking on all cylinders. You've been getting production from just about everybody.
Yeah.
Like, J.G. Pedro has been outstanding. Bobby Ryan has been good. Kyle Turris, who netted the game winner the other night, he's been phenomenal in this series, and they're causing havoc for this Rangers defense. And I think that the Rangers they're caught on their heels, and they know what's at stake now, and I think it could cause some trouble.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to say that this series will end tonight. I think Ottawa will get the win. I will say that, but I think it does go to overtime. I honestly think it does. I think the Rangers and Ottawa do battle it out, and I think it comes down to just the fact that Ottawa just seems to, everything's going their way in this series. You know, sure, regulation losses are regulation losses, but every time it goes to OT or every time it gets really chippy and really close, Ottawa seems to get the win. So for whatever reason, sometimes you can't really help that. Even if you're the New York Rangers, you're trying as hard as you can. But really, at the end of the day, when the puck's going the other way, it's going the other way. There's not a damn thing you can do about it. And you know what? It's looking like that's really helping out the Ottawa Senators right now. And I think that might be the deciding factor. Just a little bit of lady luck on their side is going to get them into that Eastern Conference Finals.
No, I absolutely agree. The New York Rangers have not had any puck luck on their side. Games 5 was all puck luck for Ottawa, especially in that comeback. It's been an interesting series. It's been a lot closer of a series than I thought it was going to be. Honestly, I thought the New York Rangers were going to win this series very, very easily. Clearly, I was wrong. But Ottawa's putting up a fight, and I like the fight that they're putting up. And Bobby Ryan being not only a Jersey boy from Cherry Hill and a former Duck, I want to see him succeed. I really do. I want to see him get his name on a cup.
Well, he has that opportunity to do so if the Ottawa Senators can get into the Eastern Conference Finals. The opponent that they're going to face is still going to have to be determined in a Game 7, this being the Washington Capitals and the Pittsburgh Penguins. Now, this series has gone off the rails. It starts out with Pittsburgh dominating Washington and looking like, okay, Pittsburgh's going to win this series. They're going to move on to the Eastern Conference Finals. Good luck, somebody stopping them. Yeah. That's what we thought. Well, it's amazing what 3 games can do. It's amazing what can happen in 3 games, because in 3 short games, Washington has not only managed to win a game in overtime, 3-2, lose one more game and put themselves in the 3-1 hole, managed to win 4-2 in Washington, and then win 5-2 in Pittsburgh. So they thrashed the Penguins in their own building, which, by the way, the Penguins did not score till the 3rd period. That alone should put that in your head like, oh, wow. Are the Penguins really going to let this slip right through their fingers? Now, usually it's Washington that lets a 3-1 lead slip through their fingers. But are the Penguins going to make that infamous mistake, let a 3-1 lead slip right out, and lose this series to the Washington Capitals in Washington?
You see, that's tough because these are 2 of the top teams in the league, 2 of the top teams in the East. This has been a long, drawn-out, hard-fought, physical series.
When we thought it wasn't going to be there at
Well,
first.
actually, I thought it was going to be. I mean, you got gritty players on each side, and it's just been pure physicality, and it's been a really fun series to watch because you're getting everything that you want to see. You're getting offense, you're getting defense, you're getting
the heated rivalry.
You're getting physicality. It's been a really good series, and I kind of don't want to see it to end.
But it has to at some point, right?
It does, and it's going into the last game of the series, and I think Washington has been playing a lot stronger in the last few games. Defense has really stepped up. Holtby has been really good. The one thing that I noticed is the HBK line isn't the HBK line anymore. They're not clicking. They miss too much time together. The Washington defense has shut down Crosby, and they've shut down Malkin.
Which is huge because you're talking about the big offensive producer this year in Evgeny Malkin. Sidney Crosby was always dangerous, albeit, though, they've been more than chippy with him, to say the least, in this series.
Oh, absolutely.
But overall, though, you bring up that great point about the HBK line not really coming through and not really having that click that they had last year. Nick Bonino, Carl Hagelin, and Phil Kessel, man, they were just killing it all last year. If anything, you could look at Crosby and Malkin and say, oh, that's a tough challenge, but it wasn't really them last year. It was more of the HBK line that just kept driving them and pushing them and keeping that offense afloat and driving through teams like Tampa that were equal to them, teams like Washington that were equal to them, teams like the New York Rangers, and just drove right through everybody. Last year was that HBK line. With that line not being consistent and not being offensively productive, it now rests on the shoulder of Evgeny Malkin and Sidney Crosby, albeit if you want to rest anything on those shoulders, you're pretty safe 99.9% of the times. Yeah,
they're pretty good shoulders to put some weight on.
Pretty sturdy. But overall, though, it's been a solid defensive effort from Washington that has just shut down those two main offensive producers. The HBK line has not been clicking. You're hoping that Connor Sheary can continue getting some offensive production as well. Or Gensel, who was in the first series, really making a big deal for it. But so far, though, it's been Washington has turned the tide of this series completely in their favor. Pittsburgh could not seal the deal at home. That's a cardinal sin when you have an elimination game, Game 6 at home. You have a 3-2 lead in the series. Yes, you gave up a game in Washington. That's Washington. You're on their turf. It's your home. You have to win that game. And the way they performed in that game, they should be ashamed of themselves. No, they should be. They have no excuse. It's one thing if you're like a team like the Bruins coming into a game like that and you're facing Washington. The Bruins are here. The Capitals are here. No offense to the Bruins, but they had to really, gear up and barely made the playoffs. Washington's here. Clear as day difference. When you got two teams that are an even playing field like this and they both have the same amount of talent and the same amount of goaltending ability and defense, you have no excuse. You should not be down 5-1 or 5-0 ever in a game.
I'm going to say this, and I don't think we're seeing Marc-Andre Fleury in Game 7. I think we're going to see somebody else. I think Matt Murray's going to finally make his debut, especially after that shellacking.
Unless Pittsburgh is that stubborn that they're just going to stick with their old netminder who has been high. Oh, hi, by the way, I'm Rob Povia. I was playing a lot doing production stuff, but glad to be on Facebook Live. If you're joining us on Facebook Live, we're here on the first segment, and then you can go to YouTube and catch us live right over there in case it's the first time watching the show. But
in case you missed introductions, that is Broken Rob Povey over there in the corner. This is the Dark Wing, Brian Daly. I am Brother Nero, Matt Sensuti, and we welcome you to the Hockey Happy Hour on A2DRadio.com. But Rob, since you are here, since we got you, what about the series between Ottawa and New York? Just to gear it back real fast, because I didn't get your prediction. Do you think Ottawa wins the series tonight in Madison Square Garden, or do you think the Rangers push one more game out in Ottawa?
We haven't gotten a lot of Game 7s in this playoffs, and we're going to get the third one now. Got it in the Anaheim Edmonton series. We got it in the Pittsburgh Washington series. Rangers have been good at home. Minus that first game against Montreal in the playoffs. These are pretty evenly matched teams, as you have former mate Brassard versus former mate Zibanejad. And, you really see good back and forth action. I expect that to continue. Rangers pull off this game. It goes back to Ottawa, and then it's anybody's game.
Well, I mean, it's like I said before, that whole entire series it's home ice advantage at its best, and
which favors Ottawa.
Right, but one of these teams have to win on the road if they want to win this series, and I think tonight's going to be that game.
Well, the truth is, too, is that when you do a home advantage series and the home team wins the first 2 games and then the other home team wins the other 2, and then you switch back and forth with Game 5, after Game 6, really, it doesn't really matter who has home ice and who doesn't because it's Game 7. And once you get to Game 7, you could have dominated at home that entire series, but you go home and you just lay a big fat old turd out there on the ice, you're out. And that's one bad game. One bad game. You played well throughout the whole series, but that one bad game at home, and it costs you
That's
your
all it
playoff
takes.
spot.
That's all it takes. It takes one bad game, one horrible game to completely ruin a series for you.
Got a couple people chiming in. Since we are on Facebook Live, we want to give them some love. Daniel Nathan Tinker says no, that the Anaheim Ducks will not break their curse. Sorry, Brian. But
I partially agree with him, though.
I thought you were all about, I sent you the question last night, and you were like, and that'll be a yes.
Hold on, time out. As a fan, I think absolutely yes that it's going to be. But as a realist, I'm pretty sure that there's a good shot that they're going to lose. I mean, they just lost 7-1.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, from the way you sounded pretty, prideful and very confident that your Anaheim Ducks were going to stomp on into Game 7 and break that curse.
That's the fanboy in me. Of course, I'm going to want my team to win, but as the analyst,
I mean, it was a text message, so maybe I was misreading it. But I don't know. You seem like the kind of guy who's like, yeah, the Ducks are going to win it. They're going to snap this Game 7 curse.
I mean, I want them to. I think they could. They absolutely could. They're going back to home ice. I mean, they usually play piss poorly like they did the other night in their Game 7. So maybe they got it done and it's out of the way. And they're going to be competitive and they're going to play well. And they're going to actually show up for this game.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be an interesting fight. That certainly will be. Hey, Rob, we got any more comments out there on the Twitter poll, on the Facebook?
Yeah, a couple actually. We have Billy Hawko going disagree. I guess he disagrees either with what you just said. So I kind of lost track there, but he disagrees. Nabo chimes in. He goes, he's picking the Senators over the Rangers. I like your style, Nabo. Definitely.
Okay.
We hate the Rangers here. Vespi goes, in terms of the poll question, will Anaheim Ducks snap their Game 7 curse? He goes, I hope so, but an Oilers-Preds Western Conference Final may be interesting. And then Tommy goes, yes. I think to support Brian.
All right, then.
But I agree with him. I really feel that despite the Edmonton Oilers coming strong at home, they had to, because they lost a tough game in Game 5. Giving up, they had a 3-0 lead with 3 minutes left to give up 3 goals, send it to overtime, and then it was in double overtime, correct, where the Anaheim gets a game winner? Yep. They got to come back. They got to make a statement at home. Game 7's in Anaheim.
Listen,
Yep.
Game 6, that was an absolute statement.
That was.
They came out and they put their foot on the gas pedal and they did not let go.
Well, you give credit where credit is due, though. This series has been a series of comebacks between both sides. Anaheim's had a lead. Edmonton's tied it up. Edmonton's had a lead. Anaheim's tied it up. And it's gone to overtime on multiple occasions because of this. And I do believe, if memory serves me right, and my memory can be faulty at times. Okay, yes, Anaheim did win both of those overtime matchups. That's what I was wondering. But still, nonetheless, though, anything is possible in a Game 7, which is why your team is not too thrilled, probably, that we go back to the Game 7 here in this series. Well, before we give that prediction away, let's gear this back here, finish up Pittsburgh, Washington right now, give our Game 7 prediction there, and then we'll give our Game 7 predictions for the Ducks and Oilers. So let's get started here. Penguins versus Washington. One more meeting. They are in the Verizon Center, home turf of the Washington Capitals. Red, white, and blue everywhere you look. Maybe a little bit of black and gold mixed in here and there for fans who want to take their life in their own hands. But, yes, it does actually happen outside of Philadelphia, you crumbs. But do you think that Ovi and his Washington Capitals finally break the curse of the semifinal strain that they've had for the better part of, 7, 8, 10 years now going. I mean, it's been a long time since Washington's broken a semifinal curse. The last time they did, they made the Stanley Cup Finals, which was 1998. Albeit different team, different look, and they also got their asses handed to them in that Stanley Cup Final by a certain team. But anyway, that's a different story for a different time. With that being said, do you think that this Washington Capitals team, built and geared to try and win now, do you think that they can beat the built and geared team to win now, Pittsburgh Penguins, in the Verizon Center at home? Because all the signs are there. It looks like the stars are aligned for the Capitals to finally break this. But then again, this is Washington. And even with the stars aligned, they have managed to fuck it up multiple times.
Yeah, it's kind of what the Capitals have been known to do, and that's okay. You know, shit happens, but I think this team is by far one of the better Capitals teams that I've ever seen. And I know I said that last year. But it's different. Now you have TJ Oshie, you have Justin Williams, you just acquired Kevin Shattenkirk at the deadline, or just before the deadline. That's huge for the defense. That's basically hurting, and I think that, you know, he not only brings a defensive aspect to this game, but he brings an offensive aspect, and he improves your power play. He can improve your penalty kill. He's an all-around good player, and Shattenkirk, I think, is your X factor. Could potentially be he's your X factor.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying on that one, because you know that when that deal happened, it was a big move, and it was a big shocking trade. Where why would Kevin Shattenkirk be traded from the St. Louis Blues? Albeit the Blues were kind of tailing off there, and it was looking like they were going to miss the playoffs. They managed to gear back and barely made it. But with that being said, though, with that being the X factor and everything, though, do you think Washington will be able to come out and manage to come at a roaring pace against Pittsburgh? You know, obviously they're going to try and throw the body around early. They're going to try and intimidate Pittsburgh, which clearly that's not going to happen. But do you think Pittsburgh might be able to gear back and take the pin out of Washington early? Because, and here's the reason why I bring this up, because of the way that Pittsburgh played that last game at home in their building. I'd be a little concerned if I was a Penguins fan going into the Verizon Center. You know, this is Washington's home. Yeah, don't get me wrong. Pittsburgh managed to beat Washington in Washington, but still, I'm a little unsure of it.
Well, here's the thing. Pittsburgh's going to go into hostile territory. That crowd is going to be loud. It is going to be ridiculous, and they are not – unless Pittsburgh goes on a 3-0 lead within the first 5 minutes of that game, there's going to be no quieting down that team. Or that crowd. That crowd is going to be behind Washington. It's going to motivate Washington. Hopefully, Ovi can finally get into something, which he hasn't been, which I believe the last game he was playing on the third line. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong.
Good question.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that he got moved down because of lack of production.
That is true. I mean, it has been said that Ovi hasn't been as productive as he has been in the past. It's been really more of the combined effort of the team all in all that has really brought them this far. Rob, I heard you chuckling there. What were you chuckling about?
Yeah, I didn't mean – I'm sorry, but I wasn't chuckling at anything you guys were saying. Vespi puts another quote that did have something to do – or comment that did have something to do with what you said. He goes, did somebody say X Factor? Cue the X-Pac music. That was funny. But
I chuckled at that too, so don't feel bad.
In all seriousness, though, he goes, sorry to bother you guys at work, but if Washington fails to win Game 7, do you expect the team to go on a fire sale and rebuild?
Yes.
That is a very, very good question.
Agreed.
And you know what? Yeah, I agree 100%. And the reason why is they're built for now.
Right.
They're built for now. You're going to lose Shattenkirk. He's going to be an unrestricted free agent at the end of the year.
Oshie
TJ Oshie is going to be an unrestricted free agent. I believe Justin Williams is a free agent at the end of this year. You're going to be losing a lot of pieces. So you're going to lose these guys. You're going to need to bring in some others. So, yeah, I do expect maybe not a full-on rebuild, but you're going to see players move on and you're going to see some new ones being brought in.
Well, Rob, what do you think? The Game 7, the stars are aligned for Washington. They're at home. Their building's going to be rocking because you know they always are. they've played so well in these last few games against Pittsburgh. They have shut down Crosby and Malkin, like you said. The HBK line is not working as it was last year, and they managed to spank Pittsburgh in Game 6 yesterday. Do you think that with the stars all aligning here, do you think Washington finally breaks this curse against Pittsburgh and, more importantly, gets out of the semifinals and into its first Eastern Conference Finals since '98?
I think they do. I really do. All the momentum's on their side. I guess that's an obvious statement there. Coming down from 3-1, now we're tied at 3-3. What it's going to boil down to is how stubborn, or as we say in Italian, gabados, are the Penguins, right? Are they going to stick with Fleury because he has been hot, not of recent in the past 2 games, but has pretty much got him to this point? Or are they going to go over to their other? Because let's face facts, they have 2 starting goaltenders, right? If they change over to Matt Murray, Penguins move on. They stick with Fleury, Caps move on. Lock it up as soon as you see who's announced as their goaltending. I'm going to look it up now, see if that has been announced.
I don't think it has been yet, but
it makes sense. Playoff games, you're not going to announce that too early.
Oh, no, not at all. You're not going to give anybody any time to prepare.
Right. And, I mean, Penguins do have enough proven goal scorers to, overcome the momentum that Washington has had. But are they going to be able to have space? Because from what I saw in Game 6, Washington owned the middle of the ice in all 3 zones. Crosby was completely blanketed, a la what Sean Couturier did to him and Malkin when they faced off in years past. He has no room to go. He's getting frustrated. He's getting lots of cheap shots. He's firing back, causing penalties. So they continue that game plan. It may not matter who they have in net, but I think Matt Murray would be a nice spark, and that's who I would start in Game 7.
No, that would definitely be that's the smart choice on the coaching part.
I agree, because you look at Marc-Andre Fleury's past. He has been known to play well and then just completely just shut everything down.
Yeah.
And I think we saw that in Game 6.
Yeah, we definitely saw that. He definitely showed signs of his old self, where he would have these great streaks and then, boom, he gets cold, and he gets cold fast. And he absolutely got as cold as ice, no pun intended.
He's cold as ice.
And out of nowhere, you just start seeing Washington put a
RKO out of nowhere.
You start seeing Pittsburgh put a 5 spot down on Washington. I mean, Washington put a 5 spot down on Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh's own building. That's almost unheard of in the playoffs, It's not like they were facing the Flyers. What the hell's going on with that? That was really weird how that happened. But my opinion, though, call me crazy.
Crazy.
I say Washington wins. I say they finally get past this, and finally they get through this hurdle. Nashville broke their hurdle this year, being able to clear it and eliminate St. Louis and get to the Western Conference Finals like they were almost last year. I think this year Washington does the same thing. It's weird that we have to say that a team that consistently won the President's Trophy and was consistently number 1 in the East has to clear a hurdle, but I think they finally do, and I think they actually do it on the back of Pittsburgh. But here's the one thing. Here's the drawback. Washington doesn't win the Eastern Conference Finals.
I don't think so either.
If they beat Pittsburgh in Game 7 in the Verizon Center, they go to the Eastern Conference Finals. Whoever wins the Ottawa-New York series, that's the team representing the East in the Stanley Cup Finals.
Wrong.
Listen, I think Washington is going to win this series, hands down. I think there's too much momentum on their side. Going back to home ice after a huge win like that, Washington's going to come out ready to go, and I can't believe I'm going to use this phrase, they're going to come out and rock the red. That's what they're going to do. Now, as far as the Eastern Conference Finals goes, we got to see who gets there first.
True, but again, though, both Ottawa and New York, they're showing signs. I mean, Ottawa's got something going for it this year that you can't really put your finger on it. It's like they got touched by God to just make it to the Stanley Cup Finals this year. It's weird. You get teams like that. It's like there's no explanation as to why they're doing this. There's no explanation to why they're dominating the New York Rangers, but they've been able to pull it off, or why they've been able to pull off comeback victory after comeback victory against the New York Rangers. Some teams are just blessed like that, So the Rangers are a team that has consistently faced the Washington Capitals in the playoffs. They know how to play the Washington Capitals in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Henrik Lundqvist versus Braden Holtby is not a strange matchup. Neither they've seen each other before. In my opinion, I think the Rangers would match up well against the Washington Capitals in the long run, it being divisional rivals and all. So it wouldn't be too much of a speculation that the Rangers could beat them in the Eastern Conference Finals. I just think Washington's having their Stanley Cup Finals now. This is their Stanley Cup Finals to beat the Pittsburgh Penguins. That can wear you out faster than getting to the Stanley Cup Finals and competing for the Cup.
That's a good point. And let's not ignore how they had a tough series against Toronto, too. So adding upon adding, taking it out of you, I could see that. But I see the other side. You come back and beat a young Toronto team. You come back and you beat the defending champs. I'm like on cocaine right now. Nothing can fucking stop me.
Right.
Like bring on the Rangers, bring on the Senators. They're a deep team. They're playing tight defensively, both in the offensive end and the defensive zone. I think winning this Game 7 would propel them to the Cup. I mean, hey, we'll agree to disagree.
All right. Do you pick Washington, though, to win it?
I said, if they start Matt Murray, Pittsburgh wins. If they start Fleury, Washington wins.
All right.
Is that on the fence enough?
I got you. I was trying to bait you to come out and say whether it be Washington or Pittsburgh. I was trying to get you to make that singular pick.
I think Pittsburgh's going to start Fleury again, and I think Washington wins.
All right.
I think they're
cool.
going to. I have a funny
made
feeling.
the answer.
Yep, absolutely.
I have that same feeling. I think Fleury's going to get the start in Game 7. He's going to get the nod, and Washington's going to do what they did in Game 6.
Well, that's okay, though, because Fleury's going to go play for the Las Vegas Knights when it's all said and done.
By the way, Brian, one more comment. Greg Milakovic goes, "Let's go Ducks." Quack, quack, quack.
Thanks, Greg. I knew I liked him.
Yep. Bringing out his Gordon Bombay. But anyway, when we come back, it'll be time for us to jump back in to a little Around the League. And then after we're done with Around the League, we'll go to this day in hockey history. And then I know you're probably thinking, wait a minute. You guys just going to ignore the playoffs? No. Relax. It's called pacing yourself. And then we'll get back to the possibilities of the conference finals in the East, and then the possibilities of the conference finals in the West. We'll talk about the Nashville-St. Louis series and what eventually led to Nashville winning that series. And more importantly, we will talk about Game 7 between the Anaheim Ducks and the Edmonton Stinkin' Oilers, as he's probably thinking in the back of his head.
Oh, no, I'm thinking of something worse.
I'm sure you are.
Also, a quick reminder, too, if you're watching us on Facebook Live, we're going to be concluding the Facebook Live. Jump on the YouTube, search a2dradio.com to catch everything that Maddie just broke down.
Absolutely, folks. Full episode on YouTube. Do not miss it. The link is also on Facebook if you want to check that out as well. So, moving forward, we're brought to you by Liberty Event Rentals, located at 2154 East Cambria Street in Philadelphia, PA. You can give them a call, 267-314-7368. They got tables, chairs, tents, linens, anything for your party or event needs. So give them a call or hit them up at www.libertyeventrentals.com. This is the Hockey Happy Hour on A2DRadio.com. We will see you guys right after this.
Welcome in to the worldwide leader of what? Real talk, A2DRadio.com.
A2DRadio.com is sponsored by The Sports Outlet for all your sporting needs. Located 703 Black Horse Pike in Glendora, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-939-2030 or email them at sportsoutletnj@comcast.net or visit them on the web at www.sportsoutletinc.com for all your sporting needs. The Sports Outlet.
A2DRadio.com is proudly sponsored by Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants. Gibson Mayer, located in Yardley, PA, is a leading accounting and business consulting firm with a proven track record of handling critical issues with expertise across many different industries, including construction, distribution, hospitality, manufacturing, real estate, service trades, merchandising, professional services, and professional athletes. Give them a call at 215-369-3300. That's 215-369-3300. Your initial consultation is always free, and if you tell them that Tom and Mike from AM and the PM sent you, you'll receive 15% off all income tax services completed by February 15th. That's Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants, 215-369-3300, or visit them on the web at www.gibsonmayer.com. That's gibsonmayer.com.
Hey, do you need to get your skills in shape? Then contact the Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. John Scanzano offers individual, semi-private, and team training lessons in hitting, pitching, catching, outfield, along with turf rentals. The Scanzano Sports Center is equipped with a 31,000 square foot indoor facility, 4 batting cages, and a 4,000 square foot strengthening and conditioning room. So what are you waiting for? Contact the Scanzano Sports Center today.
Fellas, you ever come in from that baseball or football game and your woman won't come near you because you stink beyond belief? Then you need Soap Stash. You should never settle for a generic hygiene product that only covers up the stench. Treat your skin with the best nutrients. Feel clean with the only soap you'll need. The highest grade carrier oils are ingrained in all of their products, which are 100% natural and terrific for your skin. No sulfates, parabens, or phthalates, and synthetic fragrance free. Contact Soap Stash for your sample package and give your woman what she deserves. You can contact Soap Stash at 844-890-3197 or visit them on the web at soapstash.com or Facebook at Soapstash LLC. Once again, their number is 844-890-3197. Soap Stash, the new soap standard.
You're listening to the Hockey Happy Hour, only on A2DRadio.com.
Have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight? Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Hockey Happy Hour. We are live from the BMW of Atlantic City Studios here in Mount Ephraim, New Jersey. And speaking of BMW of Atlantic City, have you ever wanted the ultimate driving experience? Well, then go to BMW of Atlantic City. They're easy to get 2 minutes off of exit 37 of the Parkway and located at 6037 Black Horse Pike in Egg Harbor Township, New Jersey. You can give them a call at 609-568-9200. They are online at www.bmwofatlanticcity.com. All right. So, we talked about the East and the Eastern Conference Finals. Pittsburgh versus Washington, Game 7. Ottawa versus New York Rangers, Game 6 tonight. Will the Rangers survive or will Ottawa go to the Eastern Conference Finals? Now, we go to around the league. before we go into the Western Conference. We will get to the Western Conference, but first it's time that we take a quick break, pace ourselves, and let's see what's been happening around the NHL. So, Rob, everything good?
Yeah, I to tell you the truth, it's not going to be that much of a break at all from the playoffs because that's all the talk has been, these great playoffs. But a big thing that came out last week, I read off a lot of the finalists for particular awards that I believe, if memory serves me correctly, will be handed out June 21st, I believe. The same day as doing the expansion draft together and the hockey awards.
Yeah, they're doing all that at the same time.
Absolutely.
Please take Dale Weiss.
Yes, that would be great. The biggest thing coming out was the finalists for the Ted Lindsay Award. One Sidney Crosby, one Connor McDavid, and one Brent Burns are the 3 finalists for the Ted Lindsay Award as NHLPA's most outstanding player.
Well, no shocker Sidney Crosby's on there. Really no surprise.
Or McDavid.
Or
based
McDavid.
On these playoffs, yeah.
I mean, Brent Burns, though, he never really gets as much love as he deserves. I mean, he's one of those players that, without him, San Jose Sharks really wouldn't have been where they were last year. I mean, all honesty. He is a major, major factor of that team.
No, I agree. He's people say that Joe Pavelski, Joe Thornton, that's the heart and soul of that team there. I disagree. I think Brent Burns is your heart and soul.
No, because it used to be Patrick Marleau. But now it's, now I could see Brent Burns taking that spot. No offense to Joe Pavelski, who's been a phenomenal player his entire career with San Jose. But, yeah, it's going to be Brent Burns.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree.
Absolutely. Let me just quickly pinning the Facebook Live to the top of the Hockey Happy Hour page because there's a few things Brian posted, too. I didn't want to leave uncovered here on the show. One of those items, man, we post a lot of stuff. Did we post? Oh,
did we?
No.
Did we do it again?
It was Tommy. It wasn't me. It was Tommy. It's all good. Well, one thing you just published today, it looks like Ilya Kovalchuk will be returning to the NHL. Will he remain with the Devils, or does he go elsewhere? I think that's the big question that you asked, Brian.
That is a huge question because I don't think anybody knows. I don't even think Ilya knows yet.
He hasn't played in the NHL since his shocking retirement from the Devils back in 2013 to go to the KHL.
Yeah, I believe that he has to pick up his contract where he left off.
Yes.
Unless all 32 teams vote that he can go elsewhere.
Right.
Or 30 teams, sorry.
All 31.
Well, I don't think Vegas is getting that official vote on that since they went around.
Well, technically, yeah. I mean, we'll see. That's all semantics. That doesn't matter. But still, point is that with Ilya Kovalchuk coming back, I'll be shocked if he stays with the Devils. And the reason why is I think Kovalchuk wants to go to a team that is a winner, and the Devils are clearly not that. And so I honestly think
Don't you piss off Josh Frank.
You're scared I'm going to drive away our one loyal follower.
Oh, we got more than that.
I know. I'm just joking.
We got 2.
I kid. But anyway. Josh, seriously, though, the Devils aren't winners. But anyway.
Ouch.
Hey, now.
Shots are fired.
With that being said, Ilya Kovalchuk, I just don't think he'll go to the Devils. I mean, I don't even think he was a big fan of the organization even when he was there. In all honesty, that's why he left in the first place. I mean, yeah, Lou Lamoriello's not there no more. Ownership's different. GM's different. But really, honestly, I don't see Kovalchuk sticking around. I see him trying to go to a winner. Or I see him trying to try and sneak his way onto a Stanley Cup contender. Maybe even go to a team like Los Angeles that is clearly could compete for a Stanley Cup if they had the right players put in the right places. Which is still a possibility. I mean, if Kovalchuk winds up on Los Angeles, that team is right back into it right after the fact.
Well, I mean, you still got to find a new head coach. You got to find a new GM, Dean Lombardi, and why am I blanking on his name? Dal Sutter has
he's been
relieved of duties.
Yeah.
Yep.
You pulled it back. It was like back here. You can't see me on camera, but I'm holding my hand behind my head, and you pulled it right back.
But that might actually favor the Los Angeles Kings when you think about it, though, because if you get the right coach who can work with Ilya Kovalchuk and his playing style, and you can pretty much say, hey, we'll take Ilya Kovalchuk, and you take him, you've re-sparked your franchise right there to make them a playoff contender and possibly make them a Stanley Cup contender if you go get enough pieces in the offseason to put around. Because you already have guys like Tyler Toffoli out there already. So, I mean, you still have a pretty good team nonetheless.
No, I agree. I mean, I don't think the Kings team is bad at all. I just, that Ilya Kovalchuk is a bit of a tricky situation here.
He is, yeah.
I personally, I don't want to see him in LA.
Well, yeah, because you don't want him to, start
lighting
them lamps up against the Ducks.
Hold on,
That's why you don't want to see it.
Listen, I think you'll like this. I think he could do some good in Anaheim. Anaheim needs a scoring winger, and Ilya Kovalchuk did that in the NHL. He did it in the KHL. He's only 34 years old.
Well, not only Anaheim, San Jose could use him too.
I'm not worried about San Jose.
No, but think about it though.
I'm being selfish.
Yeah, of course.
Let me be selfish.
You could be selfish all you want, but I'm just looking at it from an objective point of view. But think about all three of those California teams. All three of them could utilize him in an easy, simple way, and they've got the room to do it. So it's not like that they're worried about cap space. So they can actually do this. Now, if anyone out there wants to put a pipe dream out there and say, hey, maybe the Flyers could go get him, that's not happening. Not in a million years, that's not happening.
Well, I mean, here's the only way that it will work, and this is still a possibility, is a sign and trade.
You could do that, but the question is, who do you trade?
Anybody and everybody.
Well, okay.
Just to start over.
Do you think we could get the Devils to bid on Jake Voracek's contract? If so, then I'd do it in a heartbeat.
I mean,
we get Kovalchuk in exchange for Voracek, I'd do it.
Listen, I think the Devils have enough cap space that they could potentially take a Jake Voracek contract.
I mean, honestly, I'd do it. Hey, Josh, you give a little word up to the Devils. We'll give you Voracek and we'll take Kovalchuk. Straight up, no problem. We got no problem with that. Don't care.
I don't know if you'll get him straight up, but
all right. We'll give you our second. We'll give you our second overall pick too.
Oh.
There you go. Deal's done. Right there. Nothing more, nothing less.
That's asinine to trade a number 2 overall pick and Jake Voracek to get Ilya Kovalchuk.
I'm just joking. Relax.
Oh, you broke my heart there.
Just calm down. Relax.
You're gonna get cut, Matt.
I don't.
and I don't mean like cut from a team. You know what I'm saying?
Take it
Voracek. Come on.
Take it to the alley and just pull out the switchblade. I don't know. Brian didn't seem like that kind of guy. He didn't seem like the kind of guy who'd wear that leather jacket, pull out the switchblade. And,
hey, listen, man. Don't judge a book by its cover. That's all I'm going to say.
Absolutely. Now, you guys brought up, Brian, you brought up Dean Lombardi having to be replaced there for Los Angeles earlier this week, or actually roughly about 24 hours ago, that the Flyers may be interested in ascertaining the services of one Dean Lombardi in an executive role with the club. He hasn't gotten, back to the team with his response as of yet, but I know he did have a strong relationship with Ron Hextall when he was the assistant GM out there in L.A. So, you ask him, we'll address it on the show. What role would Dean Lombardi possibly have with the Philadelphia Flyers?
I mean, should we want to throw that out to the public, or do you want us to give our answer?
Well, let's both.
Let's both? All right.
Let's both.
Personally, I think we bring him in as assistant general manager.
I kind of like that.
Yeah, we bring him in as the AGM, assistant general manager to Ron Hextall. In my opinion, that'd be a great idea. Because, yeah, sure, he got fired from Los Angeles, but Los Angeles still won 2 Stanley Cups.
Under Dean Lombardi.
Yeah, under him. So, yeah, I'd do it. They built a winner in L.A. They can build a winner in Philly. I'm down with it. You don't need to twist my arm to have a good time. Let's get some damn Stanley Cups in here. Haven't had one since '75. Would like another one, wouldn't we?
I mean, I think that's the goal every year, right?
Well, of course, but unfortunately, realistically, we're not there yet. But maybe adding him would get us there just a little bit faster.
That might even be – he might – I don't know what his strengths are as a GM. I don't know what his weaknesses are, but there is a good possibility that Dean Lombardi and Ron Hextall working together could – help iron out some contracts so bad ones don't get made anymore. Because I don't think Dean Lombardi had a bad contract in L.A.
No, I don't think so either. You never heard about Los Angeles making any long-term, he got bad deals.
Long-term, they have Anze Kopitar under contract long-term. But as far as bad deals go, I don't really think they had one.
No, because Anze Kopitar is a phenomenal player. He plays his heart out.
Maybe Dustin Brown, but that's about it.
Yeah, but I mean, still, though, Anze Kopitar, he's the heart and soul of that Los Angeles Kings team.
Agreed.
So, I mean, you don't need to worry about that. That's not a bad long-term deal at all. That's like signing Sidney Crosby to the Pittsburgh Penguins. That's kind of a no-brainer,
No, agreed. And I think Dean Lombardi could do some good as really any role with this club, especially with the relationship he has with Ron Hextall.
I'm down with it personally. Assistant GM to our GM, I don't know. That just sounds like it's a cup-making machine.
If you were the GM for a team for how long was he the GM for Los Angeles? Would you say
A while.
A little
long
while.
time, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think even when they were still wearing that blue and black that they had a little ways back
Right.
down the road
Yeah.
when Simmons was on the team.
You want to call it 10 years?
We'll see. Yeah, let's say 10
let's
years.
just go with that.
So
yeah.
you've been a GM in the NHL for 10 years. Are you going to accept an assistant general manager job?
Well, the thing is, though, maybe it'll just be in title, but he'll be more of a co with Ron Hextall.
I like it.
It's
I
possible.
like what you're dishing out there. I'm glad I asked the question just for clarification because don't get me wrong, you do see it in sports. In baseball is a great example. Managers come on as bench coaches, third base coaches, just to stay relevant, in touch with the game, so that way your name is at the lips of people when there is an actual opening for a head coach, or in this case, a GM job. But you're saying just to be kind of work side by side with Hexy and deal with this mess. I got it.
Yeah, no, I mean, your perfect example of that is former Phillies GM, Ruben Amaro Jr., who took a first base coach job with the Boston Red Sox after being a GM for the Philadelphia Phillies.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
I mean,
perfect example. Yep.
I like the idea of Dean Lombardi coming here. He's a winner. He's got a good relationship with the GM.
Big
He could
winner.
really help.
Yeah.
He could really help this organization.
Absolutely. One last thing I'll say, and then we'll move on to this day in hockey history. Going back to another metropolitan team, the New York Islanders, they're looking to lock up Tavares long-term, who is due for a contract, being he played off the last year of his current contract. The report is they're offering him 8 years, $80 million, or at least that's the offer that's likely for Tavares. Does he take that, or does he walk?
He'd be stupid not to take that, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only $10 million a year for, a guy that's, I wouldn't call him a star in the NHL, but he's like a star B.
I would call him a star. But
Yeah.
I could see star B only because of the organization he's with and the team he's on.
I mean, he's the heart and soul of the New York Islanders. When you think of heart and soul and you think of the New York Islanders, you think John Tavares. You don't think of anybody else.
I think Gar Snow.
Well, here's the thing. Yeah.
or Mike Milbury.
All right, let's
Go
break
not
this
go
down.
that far.
There you go.
Let's break this down real quick. Look at some of these superstar players. Patrick Kane, Jonathan Taves. We'll throw Jake Voracek in there just because his contract is relevant to this.
True.
Corey Perry, Ryan Getzlaf. All those guys are considered superstars in this league. What are their contracts? 8 years, $80 million. That's about the league average for a superstar these days. So 8 years, $80 million. Roughly, we'll say 80. We'll round off and say 80 mil.
All right, we'll go with that.
That's about league average for a superstar these days. And that's not necessarily bad.
No, it's not. I mean, relatively overall, though, I think See, here's the thing about the Islanders. The Islanders, they're not a bad team. That's the weird part of it. They just have a shitty organization. They've always had a shitty organization. They've had some good teams that they've put out on the ice. I mean, hell, you can even go back to the early 2000s. They had a pretty decent team. Unfortunately, that team couldn't get out of the first round, but that's a different story. The Islanders, nowadays, they still have a very good team. It's not like the team sucks. This year they were terrible at the beginning, but they rounded back and they damn near made the playoffs. So that should pretty much just tell you everything you need to know right there. If this team isn't dead, it's not time to, blow it up and start selling pieces, because they can still actually make a run when they need to. I mean, I don't know. I think John Tavares should probably take that deal.
I think so too. Because go ahead, finish your statement.
Just out of my opinion, if you stick with the. Here's the thing. Loyalty is a weird thing in sports. Obviously, there's not much of it anymore, clearly. One of the few who showed that was guys like Scott Hartnell, who took a pay cut to stay with Philadelphia. That didn't last long because the Flyers were making stupid moves at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But with that being also said, teams like, say, That would be like if Crosby left the Penguins. I don't see Crosby ever leaving the Penguins. And I say a lot of mean things about Crosby, and I think he's a piece of shit, but he's loyal to the Penguins. He bleeds the black and gold. He's never leaving the Pittsburgh Penguins. He would never leave. Washington could offer him Ovi's money and then some, times it by 2, straight up for like the rest of his career, and he would probably turn it down to stay with the Pittsburgh Penguins because he loves the Pittsburgh Penguins. That's his team.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with Ovi. Now, that may change as time goes along. Maybe the organization has no choice, but that's a different story for a different time. You just don't leave that team. And that's my opinion. Yes, you do take the risk of never winning a Stanley Cup, but I just don't think John Tavares is that kind of guy. I don't see him leaving the New York Islanders.
Listen, I don't disagree with you. I don't think that if, let's say Jonathan Tavares says, okay, I'm going to go test free agency because you're not giving me enough. Who's to say that there's going to be another team out there that can offer him that much?
No team
If it becomes an issue of money.
That would be the bigger problem, is the issue of money. I don't think any team really could. Maybe a team that's under the cap, like, say, an Arizona Coyotes could do something like that, but does he really want to go play for the Arizona Coyotes for 9 years?
They don't even know if they're staying in Arizona
Yeah,
anymore.
so that's an organization that's in complete disarray right now. I mean, yeah, you could try and say, hey, maybe I'll go join the Vegas Golden Knights because the Golden Knights haven't even established their cap yet. So, I mean, you could look at it from that angle and that perspective. But, again, I don't know. It doesn't seem like any other team in the league would be willing to pay that high of a price for him. You know, nothing against John Tavares' skill because he's got plenty of skill, but it's just I don't see another team doing that. That's a big risk.
Problem is a lot of teams like Anaheim have 2 guys, Chicago have 2 guys that are getting paid a lot of money.
Yeah, and they
have big contracts.
Yeah, and then you got guys like what's going to happen? You can't do it with Toronto because what's going to happen when Austin Matthews' entry-level deal comes up? Then you got to have some big money to pay. What's going to happen in Edmonton when Connor McDavid's entry-level deal comes up? And that's going to happen in the next couple of seasons. You know, you got a lot of things there where those 2 teams couldn't really fly that, you know, because you're going to have to pay high price to get Austin Matthews and Connor McDavid to stay with the team. Mm-hmm. You know, you could try and say maybe San Jose, but even that's a little risky because you also got Joe Pavelski and Joe Thornton still under contract. You know, like you said, Anaheim.
And well, look at Anaheim. Anaheim's got Cam Fowler locked up.
Yeah,
on a fairly big contract.
Like you said, Getzlaf.
Getzlaf's 8 years, 80 mil.
Yeah.
Corey Perry's 8 years, 80 mil. They just signed Ryan Kessler to a 6-year extension. I don't remember the number off the top of my head, but I want to say it was somewhere around 50 or 60 mil a year.
I gotta ask: is Kessler worth that?
Yes.
Okay, just wondering because
he's not the prominent goal scorer that I wanted him to be. But that's okay because he's a great two-way player. He's gritty. He knows how to shut down big players. When he shuts them down, he shadows them, and he gets under their skin, gets them off their game.
That's why I wanted to ask that question because he wasn't as scoring productive as he was in Vancouver, which is why I was wondering that. But anyway.
I mean, regular season he had 20-some goals, which is good.
Not bad.
I'll take 20 goals a year out of Kessler.
There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah.
But the role that he plays is absolutely he's worth that money. Yeah. He's such a good shutdown centerman.
All right. So with that being said, though, I mean, you could actually throw out a case for the Los Angeles Kings to go get Tavares, which actually would sound like a pretty smart move on their part to go get him.
I think they'll have to trade for his rights, though.
They would, but I think they would, to be honest with you. I think Los Angeles would do that to reinvigorate their offense and to make their team dominant in the playoffs again.
They need a good centerman outside of Kopitar.
Yeah, I think they would go and try that, to be completely honest with you. Maybe even Florida, but then Florida's a little tough to fly on that one. You got to see about contracts on that one, too. Tampa's the same way because they got Stamkos and Druin. So that's another one you can't really look through that.
Kucherov and Hedman and
Johnson.
Yeah, they got a lot of players on the contract too. So I mean, I see Jonathan Tavares staying put.
I do too.
Long story short.
Yeah, long story short. I mean, it's psychoanalyzing this, but you know, we tried. Yeah, we probably failed, but still.
Dr. Sinsudi. Making house calls.
Certified.
Lots of rich MILFs.
Certified MD.
Yes.
With the D.
Yes. Fabulous comment.
Well played. Well played.
All right. So, Rob, any more other topics on Around the League?
Nope, that's it.
All right, cool. Great way to end this one. So we couldn't get to this day in hockey history of this segment. We'll get to it following the break, and then after that, we'll get into the Western Conference side of the semifinals and then talk more about the conference finals possibilities and what we will see for the rest of this year's Stanley Cup playoffs. But first, let's talk to you about the Sports Outlet. They are for all your sporting needs, located 703 Black Horse Pike in Glendora, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-939-2030. Email them at sportsoutletnj@comcast.net or visit them on the web at www.sportsoutletinc.com. This is the Hockey Happy Hour on A2DRadio.com, and we'll be right back after this.
Very apropos, West Coast trip to the Western Conference.
Yeah.
Welcome in to the worldwide leader of what? Real talk, A2DRadio.com.
Fellas, you ever come in from that baseball or football game and your woman won't come near you because you stink beyond belief? Then you need Soap Stash. You should never settle for a generic hygiene product that only covers up the stench. Treat your skin with the best nutrients. Feel clean with the only soap you'll need. The highest grade carrier oils are ingrained in all of their products, which are 100% natural and terrific for your skin. No sulfates, parabens, or phthalates, and synthetic fragrance free. Contact Soap Stash for your sample package and give your woman what she deserves. You can contact Soap Stash at 844-890-3197 or visit them on the web at soapstash.com or Facebook at Soapstash LLC. Once again, their number is 844-890-3197. Soap Stash, the new soap standard.
Hey, do you need to get your skills in shape? Then contact the Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. John Scanzano offers individual, semi-private, and team training lessons in hitting, pitching, catching, outfield, along with turf rentals. The Scanzano Sports Center is equipped with a 31,000 square foot indoor facility, 4 batting cages, and a 4,000 square foot strengthening and conditioning room. So what are you waiting for? Contact the Scanzano Sports Center today.
A2DRadio.com is proudly sponsored by Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants. Gibson Mayer, located in Yardley, PA, is a leading accounting and business consulting firm with a proven track record of handling critical issues with expertise across many different industries, including construction, distribution, hospitality, manufacturing, real estate, service trades, merchandising, professional services, and professional athletes. Give them a call at 215-369-3300. That's 215-369-3300. Your initial consultation is always free, and if you tell them that Tom and Mike from AM and the PM sent you, you'll receive 15% off all income tax services completed by February 15th. That's Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants, 215-369-3300, or visit them on the web at www.gibsonmayer.com. That's gibsonmayer.com.
A2DRadio.com is sponsored by the Sports Outlet for all your sporting needs. Located 703 Black Horse Pike in Glendora, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-939-2030 or email them at sportsoutletnj@comcast.net or visit them on the web at www.sportsoutletinc.com for all your sporting needs. The Sports Outlet.
You're listening to the Hockey Happy Hour, only on A2DRadio.com.
You could call me Brother Nero. And as you can see, I'm a lot happier. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Hockey Happy Hour. We are live from the BMW of Atlantic City Studios here in Mount Ephraim, New Jersey. And we want to talk to you guys about Gibson Mayer LLC. They are your certified public accountants. They are located 301 Oxford Valley Road in Yardley, PA. You give them a call, 215-369-2300. Tax season has come and gone. But guess what? If you did file an extension, you might want to be ready and be prepared and get Gibson Mayer. And now that we got all that out of the way,
I would be.
it's now time for this day in hockey history. So, Brian, the floor is yours. Flap the wings.
Okay. Now, okay, so on this day in 1974, Bobby Clark had 2 goals and an assist, including the winner at 12 minutes and 1 second of OT to give the Flyers a 3-2 win over the Bruins in Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Finals.
Huh.
It was the Flyers' first win in Boston after going 0-17 and 2 since November 12th, 1967.
The biggest goal of his career.
Probably. 1976. Once again, we're going to talk Flyers here.
Oh, awesome. I like
Philadelphia's Reggie Leach extended his Stanley Cup playoff record of consecutive goals scored to 10 straight games. But the Flyers lost 4-3 in Montreal in Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals.
This is true. They did lose that Stanley Cup Finals in a sweep, but Reggie Leach also made history that year as being the first ever non-goaltender on a losing team to win the Conn Smythe.
Anaheim Ducks have a player like that.
Not J.S. Jaguar,
J.S. Jaguar won the Conn Smythe on a losing team.
but non-goaltender.
Oh, non-goaltender. Sorry. Guess I was half paying attention. Sorry, Maddie.
Pay attention. Focus. This will be on the test.
1990, the NHL approved the sale of the Minnesota North Stars by George and Gordon Gunn in exchange for their gaining the rights to a Bay Area team that began in October 1991.
And I can give you 3 guesses what team that was.
No, it was not Anaheim. It was the San Jose Sharks.
Yes, it was. So
Anaheim wasn't 2 years later.
So basically, Minnesota, they sold the Minnesota North Stars to Dallas to become the Dallas Stars to take the money and pay for the San Jose Sharks.
Yep.
Wow. That's actually pretty good business. I would give you that credit. You'd think that they'd get out of hockey altogether after the North Stars failed, but no.
Bought a brand new team.
Bought a brand new team in a non-hockey market, might I add, where you were in a hockey market previously.
And they actually made San Jose a little bit of a hocky market. They
A little bit. I love
They
how he
play-
throws in the little bit.
Well, I mean, obviously I'm exaggerating, but because San Jose's had success and has a lot of success there.
They do.
Moving on to 1994.
All right.
Rookie goaltender Martin Brodeur recorded his first career playoff shutout for the Devils in a 2-0 win over the Boston Bruins.
And that was his only one, as we all recall.
Yep.
That was his only playoff shutout. He never had another one after that.
So after completing one season in 1997 with the team, the Sharks fired head coach Al Sims and replaced him with former Kings head coach Darryl Sutter.
Interesting. So Darryl Sutter has a history in California.
He does.
Apparently. I don't blame him.
Hey, listen, if Randy Carlyle gets fired after this year, I would be okay with Darryl Sutter coming over. Just throwing that out there. Not that it would actually happen.
I don't think it would happen. To be
No, it's
honest
probably
with
not
you.
going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Well, I mean, if they lose Game 7, I wouldn't be surprised to see Randy Carlisle get fired. But that's just, I guess a pipe dream for me.
Don't you think that'd be kind of a knee-jerk reaction?
You got to. I mean, this team has to get over this Game 7 bullshit that they're going through.
Okay, but you didn't see the San Jose Sharks immediately fire Todd McClellan just because they lost a few series in the first round. They stuck to him.
No, I mean, I got a feeling that, and like I said, it's a pipe dream.
All right. But anyway, so that's it for this day in hockey history.
That's it. That's all I got.
All right. Well, now that that's out of the way, it's now time to dive into the Western Conference semifinals of 2017. And we get started with the Nashville Predators, St. Louis Blues. This series is officially done. And Brother Pove, I do believe it is time, because after this sixth game, it's time to sentence the St. Louis Blues to deletion. Delete! That is right. The St. Louis Blues. Sadly, yes. The St. Louis Blues are gone. They have been eliminated in 6 games, taking a 3-1 loss in Game 6 to the Nashville Preds. The Preds are now in the Western Conference Finals for the very first time in franchise history. They have finally broken their semifinal curse. They could make some big history here if they manage to go all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals. It'll be their first ever appearance for that team.
His first ever appearance in the Western Conference Final as well.
And by the way, if they manage to pull that off, they would be the first team out of the more recent expanded teams to make the Stanley Cup Finals.
They would.
Because Columbus has never made it.
Right.
The Wild have never made it.
Right.
And the
Thrashers are now in Winnipeg.
Thrashers are now in Winnipeg. Who cares about them? And that's pretty much it, because there is nobody else. And the Coyotes, who have been around for a little while, but they
weren't a part of that expansion.
They weren't part of that anyway, yeah, so never mind. But yeah, they'll be the first team out of the more recent expanded teams to make the Stanley Cup Finals. They're not a 21st century team, though. They actually came in the league, I believe, in 99. They came into the league.
Arizona?
No, Nashville.
Oh, I believe Nashville. It was Nashville and Minnesota first.
Yes, and then Columbus.
And then Columbus was like the year after, and the Thrashers were the year after that.
Yeah, and I believe that was 99 and 2000 that those teams came into the league.
Yeah.
So, but still, Nashville could be the first one out of those teams to make the Stanley Cup Finals. And that's weird. Wouldn't you think about it? Out of all those 4 teams, what team would most likely have the best shot at making it? You would think Nashville wouldn't even be in the league right now. Just like the Thrashers. But no, they're here, they're thriving, and they're only 4 wins away from their very first ever Stanley Cup Finals appearance.
Congratulations need to go out to former Flyer coach Peter Laviolette, starting anew in Nashville, and has really put together a cup contending team that we did not give credit to.
No, not at all.
They got a lot of jam.
They do.
Absolutely. Oh, and just to block anybody out there, any of the trolls out there who want to say, oh, well, wait a minute, didn't the Carolina Hurricanes? Carolina's not an expansion team. The Hartford Whalers moved there and became the Carolina Hurricanes.
Right.
Which they hadn't, but it's the case.
I tell you what, though, I got to feel, though, as much as the Nashville Predators have accomplished, and they've played great, but whether they face Anaheim or Edmonton, I think that's where the party's got to stop for Nashville. You give them credit for getting this far, but let's look at who they beat. All right, Chicago Blackhawks, huge, obviously huge, but how did they play? And they swept them, but how did the Blackhawks play in that series? They didn't show up. Then they beat a Blues team, which definitely, exceeded expectations, especially after you trade Kevin Shattenkirk. You're like, oh, well, this team's a seller. They're not looking to make the playoffs, but they played well enough to get in great position. But they're missing some pieces too. Both of those scenarios don't measure up to what Anaheim and Edmonton are doing. So it would be a true test of the defensive fortitude of the Predators in the Western Conference Final, no matter who their foe may be.
That is true.
I think
is true.
Nashville's defense has just been phenomenal throughout this entire series. Backing up Rene, making good plays with the puck, killing off penalties, scoring on the power play. In the addition to PK Subban, to all the haters out there that said PK could never win, He's proven them all wrong.
He is. He certainly
That he was the
is.
problem in Montreal and why they can't win. Clearly, they were wrong.
Well, the odd part is that look at the two teams' playoff runs. Montreal lost in the first round, and Nashville's in the Western Conference Finals. So,
Right, and that kind of helps prove my point is that PK Subban was not a problem in Montreal.
yeah.
There's another problem in that locker room.
Well, Montreal, if you look throughout the history of the organization, they've had some shady people walk through that organization in the past, and they've always been two-faced style, Yes, Montreal is two-faced. Let's call it what it is. And there have been plenty of players around there who have been, star players who they've pissed away because of their bullshit. Patrick Waugh is the other perfect example of this. You take your best goaltender. Not only do you anger him, which isn't hard to do with Patrick Waugh, but
All you got to do is breathe on him and he's pissed
pretty
off.
much. But still, you piss away Patrick Waugh, who won you 2 Stanley Cups, and he goes to Colorado and wins 2 more. Boy, don't you feel stupid. Just saying, you feel stupid. And by the way, Montreal, to hindsight being 2020, you were getting Mark Recchi in 2 years. So I'm just saying, that's the shame on you. Shame on you. You were getting Mark Recchi from the Flyers in 2 years. That's piss poor on your part. But anyway, different story for a different time, different era. But still, with all that being said, though, a lot was proven by Nashville this year, and a lot was proven against Montreal that PK wasn't the problem, like you said. Being in the Western Conference Finals, taking this team this far, Pekka Rinne playing like he's 7 or 8 years younger than he is, and he's just dominating in that net.
Yeah.
The offense of flurry that Nashville has shown is spectacular, and you don't think too much about that with Nashville. You think more of their defense, if anything, which has been pretty impressive so far in this entire playoff. So, but since Rob brought it up and he predicted that whomever Nashville would face, this would be the end of their party. Brian, what are you thinking? You thinking no matter who they face, Anaheim or Edmonton, that would they get to the Stanley Cup Finals versus a certain team, or would Anaheim or Edmonton get to the Stanley Cup Finals?
Honestly, if Anaheim can get through Game 7, I think Anaheim is the team that's going to wind up in the Stanley Cup Finals. I'm sorry, I'm not saying this as a homer, but if you look at the way that Anaheim's defense has been playing most of the series, they've been playing well. Gibson has been playing really well. Ryan Getzlaf, throughout the entire playoffs, is like a reborn player. He has been everywhere that he needs to be. He's been making plays. He's been scoring goals. He's been setting people up. He's been a force to be reckoned with, especially in this series. I believe he's either tied or leading the league in points, or in the playoffs in points. And I want to say it's somewhere around 14 or 15 points. He's been phenomenal. And I think as good as Nashville's defense is, I think they're going to have a tough time trying to settle down Ryan Getzlaf.
Yeah, they absolutely will.
And it's not even just Ryan Getzlaf. It's you got to worry about
Corey Perry.
Well, Corey Perry's kind of been non-existent. I mean, his grit's been there. You got to worry about Andrew Cogliano. You're right. Andrew Cogliano, Ryan Kessler, Jakob Silfverberg. That line has been the best line throughout this entire playoff. You've been getting good grit from line 4.
Hey, if we give you Jake Voracek, can we take Jakob Silfverberg?
No.
Oh, I was really hoping that you would do that.
No.
Damn.
I like Silfverberg.
All right.
Silfverberg's getting
go
so
on,
much better.
Go on, continue. Anyway.
It's amazing. This team is the team to beat, I think. And as good as Edmonton has been, I think if you take out Leon Draisaitl, this series was over a long time ago.
Yeah.
Leon Draisaitl has just been a human wrecking ball by himself, especially in that game the other night. I think Nashville plays Edmonton, on the other hand, I think as good as the offense is, I think Nashville's defense and their goaltender is better.
So you think Rinne would be able to win that series for them?
I do. That defense is big. It's physical. It's fast. I think they can keep up.
So, all right. So if they faced Edmonton, Nashville would make their very first ever Stanley Cup Finals appearance.
I think so.
And if they faced Anaheim, Anaheim would return to the Stanley Cup Finals for the first time since winning it in 2007.
I think so.
All right. Well, my picks, I'm actually going to agree with Rob here. Here's the reason why I'm gonna say Nashville's pretty much done, and here's the reason why. Nashville, like Rob actually brought up on a good point, Chicago really didn't play well and didn't really test them at all in that series.
Nope.
And St. Louis being kind of dinged up in an odd way, they trading away Kevin Shattenkirk, having a rear back and barely made the playoffs as it was, at that last-minute surge that got them in third place in the division, which I know is weird if you're settling for third place, but truthfully they were. They could have had more. St. Louis, I think, just they weren't on level. They just weren't going into the playoffs. They managed to beat Minnesota, but Minnesota was cold as cold could get going into that playoffs. So St. Louis wins that series. I agree with Rob. I think Nashville has not faced the teams that Edmonton's had to face or Anaheim's had to face. Anaheim had to face off with Calgary that was giving them fits. San Jose was trying to gut out as much of that series as they could against Edmonton, and that was a nasty series. And you go to the semifinals, it's going full 7 between these two teams. I don't know, man. That's a tough sell for Nashville to beat either one of those teams. Edmonton's been playing phenomenal. They've been throwing the body around too. I mean, Edmonton hasn't shied away from the physical play. So I don't think the big defense would intimidate them really in any way, shape, or form. Could they shut them down? They might be able to shut the team down for a period of time. But this Edmonton team, man, they've been resilient as resilient can be, and I don't need to tell you that. Coming back and tying a game up, which eventually they lost, but you get my point. You had them beat, and they came back, I don't know. It's hard to sell me on Nashville. I think Nashville's still missing a couple of things. If Nashville gets enough, if they get a couple more pieces, I think Nashville can really be dominant. But I think right now, I think they're still missing it. All honesty. That's not me knocking Nashville. That's just me saying you still got to put a couple of pieces out there before you're truly ready to match teams like Anaheim, like Chicago on a good year. You caught Chicago on a bad year. Let's call that what that is. That's all I'm saying about Nashville. No offense to them, and congratulations getting this far. But I just don't think they got enough to beat Edmonton or Anaheim.
On another note real quick, I just want to take a quick time out. I'm not even going to disgrace these airwaves with your name, but you know who you are. Stop commenting on the YouTube with racial slurs. We don't stand for that. That's not what this show is all about. That's not what this station is all about. You've been reported, and you're going to lose your channel if you keep it up. So fucking stop it. We can't curse, though.
Yes, we can. We can do that.
Sorry, I really didn't want to interrupt your point, but that needed to be said there.
That's perfectly fine. Thank you for bringing that up. With that being said, all that out of the way, we got Nashville on one side of the Western Conference Finals. The other side of the Western Conference Finals has yet to be determined as as Anaheim and the Edmonton Oilers battle it out in Game 7. And now it's time for Brian's favorite portion of the show. It's time to get into our Game 7 predictions of Edmonton versus Anaheim.
Before we hear from Brian, the comments have absolutely to do with that. We were holding on to these comments. I wanted to save it for this. So Dominic Arnone, not related to Tom Arnone, totally different Arnone altogether, but he chimes in and goes, God, I hope so. So he's certainly on your side, Brian.
Thanks, Dom.
So
you're the man.
But with that being said, though, why don't we actually check the Twitter poll question? Let's see where we're at there.
Can I finish the comments?
Sure, go right ahead.
Great. Thank you very much. Steve Morantz, as I was saying earlier on in the show, we wanted to get to this comment asking what they have the Caps problem. Does Anaheim have the Caps problem, Brian?
I don't think it's as bad as the Capitals problem, but yeah, Game 7s they just usually just don't show up. Played Chicago in a Western Conference Final, got blown out. Played L.A. in a Western Conference Semifinal, Game 7, did not show up, got blown out again. So hopefully, after Game 6, when they got blown out 7-1. They got that out of the way, and I won't be as much of a wreck watching Game 7.
Okay, on a scale from 1 to 10, how much of a wreck would you be if they do lose?
A scale of 1 to 10?
Yes.
35.
Oh, okay. So we might have to go get alcohol just to soothe his
Don't worry, I got plenty of alcohol.
Oh, okay. All right.
And normally I'll chime everybody's name to thank them for commenting, but I'm going to group all these together. And you'll see why from various groups that we've shared the show in, NHL Hockey Talk, NHL Fans. I got 7 yeses, man, that Anaheim pulls this off and wins Game 7 and breaks the curse. So everybody's in your corner, man. Everybody's in their corner. We go to the Twitter poll, as you said, Maddie. 60% yes, 40% no as of the current moment.
Sweet.
So a lot of people are favoring your Ducks there, Brian.
I think it's all people that hate Connor McDavid.
That's probably what it
A lot
is.
of a lot of people in Philly hate Connor McDavid because of that whole run-in with Brandon Manning.
Yeah. Connor
Yeah.
McBroken, as we like to call him around these parts. All right.
How about collar McBroken?
I like it.
Because he did break his collarbone.
I like it. Hey, can you re-break the collarbone possibly? I mean, you got some big bodies out there in Anaheim. Don't be afraid to throw a few shots in there.
Oh, Ryan Kesslers. Don't worry about that. Ryan Kessler's all over that.
I'm sure he's got that all taken care of. Ryan Kessler throwing the body around. What a big shocker. But anyway.
For no reason whatsoever. And I kind of understand why he did it, but he just, starts pushing him, shoving him, gets him with a couple quick, cheap cross checks, and then grabs him by his chest and starts jabbing at his jaw. I'm like, well done.
Welcome,
well done.
Well done, sir.
welcome to the Stanley Cup playoffs, Connor McDavid.
Just for no reason. He
Yeah.
just did it just because.
So, gentlemen, we've heard from the audience, and they have spoken. They are in favor of the Anaheim Ducks moving on to the Stanley Cup, Western Conference Finals, being 4 wins away from the Stanley Cup Finals. I ask you, what will we see in Game 7, and who will walk away with this victory moving on to the Western Conference Finals? Will Edmonton, for the first time since 2006, yes, 2006, go to the Western Conference Finals, which last time they did, they managed to go to the Stanley Cup Finals as an 8th seed? Or, for the first time since 2 years ago, I do believe I stand correct. Was it 2 years ago?
Yes.
2 years ago against the 2 years ago against the Chicago Blackhawks. Will Anaheim break that curse in Game 7, go to the Western Conference Finals for the first time in 2 years, and try to return to the Stanley Cup Finals where they have a 1-1 record at .500? Rob, what are you thinking?
No. I don't.
Jerk, he tricked me.
I'm off camera, people, and I first started putting my hands in the air like Daniel Bryant. Yes, and then I turned heel Daniel Bryant. Thanks, Frank. Yeah, that guy will be taken care of. He's chiming in regards to that idiot. Man, this is tough. I mean, Edmonton came out firing at home on all cylinders and, really embarrassed the team. The Ducks didn't show up in that game, as well as Edmonton really battling back from a Game 5 loss that was really hard to stomach. You're up 3-0 with 3 minutes left, and you give up the game-tying goal. Very disputed, but it was absolutely a good goal.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then take that loss. So they were coming back to make their statement. So it's, the ball's now, in your guys' court. True Game 7. All right, I've stalled long enough. I'm going to go Anaheim. They've been good at home all year. They have the pieces defensively. They're strong. They're healthy. Basically, they'll have to find an answer for Connor, definitely. But I just think it's weird because my bracket says Edmonton Oilers, so I'm rooting for that too. There's really no bad situation. But, no, I think Anaheim does break the curse and goes on to not only face the Predators in the Western Conference Finals, but also represent the Western Conference in the Stanley Cup Finals.
I think so too. I really do think Anaheim has what it takes to beat this team. They have to shut down Leon Draisaitl to do it, and I think they have the defense that can do it. They have the two-way players that can do it. They have a lot of grit on this team, and they just need to get in Leon Draisaitl's face. The problem in Game 6 wasn't necessarily that they didn't show up, because part of me agrees with you, Rob, because they didn't. John Gibson needs to stand up taller in net, and he needs to not let those soft goals in like he did in the first 3 shots of the game. The fact that Zach Kassian had a goal that should not have been a goal is absolutely ridiculous. Zach Kassian should not have scored that goal. Leon Draisaitl should not have scored on that backhand goal. He shouldn't have even scored on that breakaway.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, San Jose got scored on by Zach Cassian, just saying.
That doesn't make me feel any better. I hate Zach Cassian. I think he's a huge waste. He's a waste of time. He's irrelevant.
I know he's public enemy number 1 to you right now, so.
But John Gibson needs to stand tall in net. He needs to not let the soft goals in. He needs to when he puts his paddle down, he needs to put his paddle down all the way and not let these bullshit soft goals go through his 5-hole.
Well, do you think that they decide to pull the plug on Gibby and throw in?
Gibby's going to be on a short leash.
Do you think that they just not start him, period, though?
No, he gets to start. He absolutely gets to start. He's the number 1. You got to show faith in your number 1. But he's going to be on a short leash.
All right.
If he lets in more than 2 goals early, he's done. His night is over.
Okay.
Over.
We'll see Bernier.
All right. So before we go to break, my prediction is, and you're going to hate me for this one, Brian, I say Edmonton wins it. And here's the reason why. For all the reasons you brought up. Yes, Gibby's going to be on a short leash, but here's the problem. Edmonton's going to score a couple of goals. They're going to have the lead. Anaheim's going to do everything in their power to try and tie it up. But then in their haste to try and tie it up, something's going to happen. And Edmonton's going to manage to stay ahead by 2 goals. Yes, sure, Anaheim may score a goal, but Edmonton's going to find a way to score again, and it'll be 3-1. And then Edmonton's going to hold on. And I hate to say it, but the thing is about this Edmonton team, just like that damn Ottawa team, those damn Senators, just like those damn Oilers, man, somebody touched them. I think God touched them for whatever reason because they're not going the fuck away. They're just going to keep on going, you know? I don't know. It doesn't seem too promising, especially after a 7-1 thrashing, man. You know, I hate to say it. I don't know. I think Edmonton's got all the motivation in the world, you know, and the Honda Center has not really been a factor for Edmonton. Edmonton's played well in the Honda Center.
Yep.
So that's my personal opinion. You can take it for what it's worth, which probably isn't that much. But anyway,
hey Penny,
when we come back, we will dive into conference final scenarios, Stanley Cup final scenarios, just for the hell of it, because they're getting that close. The Stanley Cup finals is almost here. I'm almost feeling it. Just give me my damn fix.
It's so good once it hits the lips.
Yes, it is. It is.
You here old school today.
We're quoting it all day. All day.
We'll be right back after this, but first we're brought to you by Skizana Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.skizanasports.com. This is the Hockey Happy Hour on A2DRadio.com. We'll be right back after this.
You're listening to the worldwide leader of Real Talk, A2DRadio.com.
A2DRadio.com is sponsored by the Sports Outlet for all your sporting needs. Located 703 Black Horse Pike in Glendora, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-939-2030 or email them at sportsoutletnj@comcast.net or visit them on the web at www.sportsoutletinc.com for all your sporting needs. The Sports Outlet.
Welcome in.
A2DRadio.com is proudly sponsored by Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants. Gibson Mayer, located in Yardley, PA, is a leading accounting and business consulting firm with a proven track record of handling critical issues with expertise across many different industries, including construction, distribution, hospitality, manufacturing, real estate, service trades, merchandising, professional services, and professional athletes. give them a call at 215-369-3300. That's 215-369-3300. Your initial consultation is always free, and if you tell them that Tom and Mike from AM and the PM sent you, you'll receive 15% off all income tax services completed by February 15th. That's Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants, 215-369-3300, or visit them on the web at www.gibsonmayer.com. That's gibsonmayer.com.
Hey, do you need to get your skills in shape? Then contact the Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. John Scanzano offers individual, semi-private, and team training lessons in hitting, pitching, catching, outfield, along with turf rentals. The Scanzano Sports Center is equipped with a 31,000 square foot indoor facility, 4 batting cages, and a 4,000 square foot strengthening and conditioning room. So what are you waiting for? Contact the Scanzano Sports Center today.
Fellas, you ever come in from that baseball or football game and your woman won't come near you because you stink beyond belief? Then you need Soap Stash. You should never settle for a generic hygiene product that only covers up the stench. Treat your skin with the best nutrients. Feel clean with the only soap you'll need. The highest grade carrier oils are ingrained in all of their products, which are 100% natural and terrific for your skin. No sulfates, parabens, or phthalates, and synthetic fragrance free. Contact Soap Stash for your sample package and give your woman what she deserves. You can contact Soap Stash at 844-890-3197 or visit them on the web at soapstash.com or Facebook at Soapstash LLC. Once again, their number is 844-890-3197. Soap Stash, the new soap standard. Yes!
Well, the title of this is March On, so marching on in the playoffs.
Yes, we are. That is right, folks. This is the Hockey Happy Hour on A2DRadio.com. Like we said, brought to you by Scanzano Sports Center, located in 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. Gentlemen, it is now time for us to dive in to our conference finals setups and what we have going on there. And not only that, our Stanley Cup final scenarios, because we are getting this close to the Stanley Cup finals. We are 1 round away, folks. 1 round away. So think about that. We are almost down to our final 4 teams. Yes.
Real quick. Josh Frank has been chiming in on the Ilya Kovalchuk situation we were talking about.
Has he said anything about my trade proposal?
No.
Oh.
So here's what he's saying. He said, as if winning the draft lottery wasn't enough, this is just a bonus for us Devils fans. Agreed. I come back with, well, that's if all 32 teams don't vote him as a free agent. I do think the Devils could use him. He responds with, teams only vote if Devils fans refuse his rights. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Because I asked him if, do you think that the Devils could use him? He said it's a sticky situation. He left under a different regime, so a return to New Jersey might be easier. If I'm in charge, and this is what I brought up, I sign and trade him. If Pittsburgh wins tonight, I sign and trade Covey to the Caps for Marcus Johansson and Nate Schmidt. I like that.
I like that. That's actually a very smart idea. That's a very good idea, because then he can go to a team that is competitive now that would basically keep Washington from having to blow up their organization. Because you have Kovalchuk now along with Alexander Ovechkin on the same team, so you really don't need to blow anything up. Because then you can just have to try and focus on getting TJ Oshie re-signed after that fact, or Kevin Shattenkirk, one of the two. But with all that being said, though, that's not a bad idea because then you take rid of Marcus Johansson, who is one of the bigger goal scorers. You can replace him with Ilya Kovalchuk on that regard.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not a bad balancing act right there. It's not
I
a
like
bad
that.
idea
Well, I
at
mean,
all.
I like the trade in general.
Yeah.
Trading Covey to Pittsburgh or
Washington
for Marcus Johansson and Nate Schmidt. Nate Schmidt's turning into a really good young defenseman.
He is.
Marcus Johansson's a good centerman. He's a good role player. Devils really need a good centerman.
They do. They do.
I
I mean, that's not a bad idea. That isn't a bad idea at all. So
it's a win-win.
it is a win-win on that one. It is definitely a win-win on that regard. So that's an interesting deal. It's an interesting deal. We'll see if the Devils actually go through with something like that or if the league decides to vote him to become a free agent. He may actually well, that also depends on him. He might implore that the league vote him to be a free agent too.
It's possible.
I mean, I don't know what Covey's thinking. He's hard to nail down. You don't know what the hell Kovalchuk's thinking. You know, Kovalchuk, he's the guy who marches to the beat of his own drum. He doesn't really follow any path. You can't really think of any like, oh, well, he's going to do this or he's going to do that. Like, no. People thought he'd be loyal to Atlanta for most of his career. He was not.
yeah. Josh, as always, man, appreciate your support. Loving the show. Always commenting on stuff. Appreciate you, bro.
Stop being a Devils fan. All right. So, with all that, it's now time to get into our conference final matchups. We've already got them set. Now, you had your opinion of Nashville moving on against the Edmonton Oilers. So, in your world, Nashville has beaten the Edmonton Oilers. What length are you talking here?
Oh, if they're playing Edmonton, I think that one's going to go 7 as well.
All right, so it goes full 7. Nashville wins. Your Eastern Conference final setup, what do you got?
I want to say I got the Rangers and the Capitals.
Okay. Length.
Again, it's going to be another 7-game series.
All right, who wins, Lundqvist or Holtby?
Honestly, I think Lundqvist.
Lundqvist, he outlasts Holtby. All right.
It's happened before. I could definitely see it happening again.
All right, so the New York Rangers defeat the Washington Capitals in 7 games. They go to the Stanley Cup Finals for the first time since 14? Was it?
I think it was 2014 against
LA.
LA.
Yeah, against LA, and they lost in 5. They face off with the Nashville Preds, who are making their Stanley Cup Finals debut. Who wins?
Rangers.
Rangers. All right, and how long?
I'm going to say 6. 6 games.
All right, so the Rangers win in 6 games. They win their first cup since 1994.
Yes.
All right, then. So, Henrik Lundqvist in your world finally gets that elusive cup that he's been looking for in his house. Finally. All right. Rob, what you got in the Western Conference Final?
Western Conference Final. Well, I have Anaheim and Nashville. Stick with that. Like I said before, I think Anaheim's a superior team. Certainly they've been the beast of the Pacific. Here's where Nashville's Cinderella story ends, and Anaheim goes on to represent the West in the Stanley Cup Finals.
All right, then.
I like it.
Who you got representing the East?
This is tougher, obviously, because, obviously 2 series still yet to be determined. But I did pick the Capitals because, the Penguins may be stubborn and still start Fleury when they should be starting Matt Murray at this point. And I don't think I officially said who I had in the Rangers-Senators series.
No, because we only predicted Game 6. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was just hiding out because I didn't want to make that pick. It's a tough series. I mean, 2 even teams. I'm going to go with Senators. I think they have a lot of speed. We talk about all the big boys, but we forget about talking about character guys like Zach Smith. Certainly has been contributing very well in this series and making a full-out effort against the Blue Shirts of Broadway. Maybe I guess I'm going with the Senators out of personal hatred of the Rangers, I guess. But, I mean, easily could be the Rangers as well, assuming they're able to take Game 6 at home. So, Senators, Capitals, I got the Capitals representing the East and going to the Stanley Cup Finals.
All right, then. So, in your Western Conference Final and your Eastern Conference Final, what's the length of the series?
I think the Caps beat the Senators in, I'm gonna say, 5 games. They win. Game 5 at home in Washington. Anaheim, Nashville. I'm gonna agree with you guys. I see that still being a long series because I don't want to just piss on Nashville's parade. They will come. They will represent. They're a good defensive team. They know how to put the biscuit in the basket. So yeah, I'll see that being. I'm gonna say 6 games, so that way Anaheim doesn't have to face another Game 7.
Well, I mean, if you did piss on Nashville's parade, it wouldn't be too bad. It will match the color of their jerseys. But anyway.
I feel like that means that they're dehydrated.
If the Rangers win their series against Senators and Edmonton does go on to beat your Ducks, I will have 3 out of 4 in my bracket.
So there you go.
That's kind of what I'm rooting for. And this was the NHL bracket challenge that we filled before the playoffs even started.
So, Rob's looking.
He had
like
me. He had me until he went there.
No, at the last minute, just cut that one right off.
Well, that's what I had the bracket in the beginning. But as of this moment, from what I've seen from Anaheim, they were very unhealthy going into the playoffs. They got healthy during the playoffs, so I like their chances. And if it's Anaheim Caps,
that's a great series.
That's a great series, absolute great series. We'll save that prediction for another.
All right,
show.
you're gonna say that. All right, so you plead the 5th. All
I'll
right,
have to think on that.
All right. So with that being said, my predictions are in the East. I have Washington moving on in Game 7, and then Ottawa I have moving on tonight. And I will still say this today. Washington loses the Eastern Conference Finals to the Ottawa Senators. I know it sounds crazy, but here's the reason why. Washington, again, is burnt out from being able to pull off this victory against Pittsburgh. They can't get through it. This is their first time getting to the Eastern Conference Finals, too, as a team. They'll be out and down. Now, don't get me wrong. This is their first time, too, but Ottawa managing to defeat the Rangers in 6. They also defeated the Boston Bruins in 6. They'll be a little bit more rested than Washington will be. But not only that, I think Washington, again, wears themselves out defeating Pittsburgh. And that rings true. Ottawa wins in 7. Be a long series. Ottawa guts it out in 7 games and goes to the Stanley Cup Finals for the first time since 2007. As for me, in the West, I have the St. Louis Nashville Predators. Blues are out. Nashville Predators up against the Edmonton Oilers. And the Oilers win. No offense to Nashville, but the Oilers win in 6. They take care of business. They get the job done. Actually, you know what? Strike that. I retract that last name. It's 7. I'm going to go with 7. Why? Because that actually would be a little bit more even keel. 7 games. Edmonton wins it. They go to the Stanley Cup Finals. And it is the Oilers for the first time since 2006 against the Ottawa Senators for the first time since 2007. Isn't that weird how that parallels? But anyway.
Yeah.
That's kind of weird, ain't it? Edmonton made it in 2006 and Ottawa made it in 2007. Anyway,
that is weird.
Very different team, but, because Chris Pronger's not wearing an Oilers jersey and Ray Emery's not wearing an Ottawa Senators jersey. Both are former Flyers, by the way. But anyway, enough about that. Edmonton versus Ottawa. And this is crazy, but you know what? For the first time in history, the Ottawa Senators hoist up the Stanley Cup.
He is a traitor.
Shocking the Edmonton Oilers.
He is a traitor.
You're making Stanley Cup predictions? You jerk off. I quit.
He made a Stanley Cup prediction. I don't want to hear it.
What Stanley Cup? What prediction did I make?
The Rangers winning their first cup since '94.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so don't come telling me I'm a traitor.
I wasn't saying you.
Just for that, I'm picking the Caps to win the cup. Screw you all.
All right,
hey,
that's fine. You
I
made
did
your
nothing.
prediction.
What did I do?
Oh, you know what you did.
I
Don't
know
try
what
and
I
play
did.
all innocent Ducks fan in the corner there.
I'm an innocent Ducks fan.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
No, you're not.
Yes, I. Great. I had a thought. Now where to go? Oh yeah, I wasn't calling you a traitor because of who you were picking. I'm calling you a traitor because you're picking 2 Canadian teams to go to the Stanley Cup Finals.
So?
This is America. We're in America.
Okay, it's different. These are Canadian players playing on American hockey club teams. There's a difference. It's not like I'm picking Team Canada to go to the Stanley Cup Finals against Team Russia, and one of them beat the United States to get into it. Like, seriously. And I'm not picking Team USA versus Team Canada in the Stanley Cup Finals, and Team Canada wins.
Well, they would never be in a Stanley Cup final anyway.
I get it, but could you imagine that? Having national teams compete for the Stanley Cup?
I like that, though.
That would be
I
interesting.
think that'd be cool.
That'd be very interesting.
No, but seriously, though, I don't think Ottawa gets past the Rangers if they don't win tonight. If they don't win tonight, it's game over.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, the Rangers are still a solid and dangerous team. But again, you're just looking at me throwing my arms around all pissed off because everybody's calling me a traitor for no reason whatsoever.
Frank Vespi chimes in on YouTube saying, #Canada for the Cup.
Canada for the Cup. No, but seriously, though, Ottawa finally breaks Canada's cold streak. They win the first Stanley Cup for a Canadian hockey club since '93. It took them only 23 years to finally do it, but they finally do. Ottawa wins their first Stanley Cup ever as a franchise. And Edmonton, they get a taste of things to come because, let's be honest, even if they don't make it this year, this is only the beginning for Edmonton making a Stanley Cup Finals and eventually winning another cup.
I do. Well, I mean, it's technically not Ottawa's first Stanley Cup, but it's their first Stanley Cup under the NHL.
Don't. We're not comparing it to the original Ottawa Silver 7. We're not going back there. Enough of that. Rob, what were you laughing about?
I was just looking back at the YouTube broadcast when I hopped in front of the camera. It was priceless. I don't know if you all heard me calling Cincinnati a traitor, but it's not true. He's one of the most loyal guys I know.
No, he's not a traitor. I
And
just
he
like
paid me
busting
to
his
say
balls.
that.
It only costs $50 too, by the way.
That's
I'm
it?
cheap.
You are cheap. Frank Vespi once again chiming in on the YouTubes. #Frank tries to be a Canadian citizen since 2014.
Okay. Interesting.
Canada for the cup.
Canada for the Cup 17.
Oh, Frank
Awesome,
Vespi.
Frank.
But hey, but seriously though, I'm a traitor. You had the New York Rangers winning. First of all, if anything's a traitor, it's the New York Rangers. Who the hell wants to see the Rangers win a Stanley Cup? Like, seriously.
I didn't say
Screw
one of
them.
Fans.
Hold on, time out. I don't want to see the Rangers win a cup. I'm just saying I think that's what's going to happen.
That's still, you picked them anyway. So you know what? At least I didn't pick the Edmonton Oilers and then dicked you over. They were the team that's going to eliminate your team. I was kind enough to pick the Ottawa Senators. I could have picked the Edmonton Oilers, and I didn't.
I think the Edmonton Oilers do have a good shot, though. I'll be
They
honest.
do. I mean, I'm not going to lie. They do. But still.
You got to get through Game 7 first.
They do. They absolutely do. So does Anaheim. But anyway, that's a different story for a different time.
Frank.
But Frank's still going on this Canadian rant here. What do you want to trade? If you have an American passport, do you want to trade it in for a Canadian one? Because we'll gladly drive you across the border to do this.
You see Frank. #LeBron James and Benedict Arnold were both traitors. #Ruck the Fangers.
Okay, he's trying to say fuck the Rangers. Censored.
Mm-hmm.
But
I think
anyway,
he's being a little more censored about it.
Yeah.
Way to go, Frank.
Yes. Way to go, Frank. Way to go. All right. So, we've made our picks for the Stanley Cup. Rob's got Washington.
I think he's just saying that out of spite now.
Still, he's got Washington.
Yeah. Well, I mean, didn't you pick the Capitals in your bracket, too?
Hold on. He's wearing the colors, too, of the Capitals. He's got red, white, and blue on there, albeit the white's a little small there on the baseball cap. But still, he's wearing it. So, you know what? He's rocking the red with that red hoodie.
Rocking the red, absolutely.
You know?
Let me first state, I hate the Capitals as much as I hate the Rangers and Devils and Penguins. You know, they're all scumbags.
Yeah,
but I just think I always love the playoff stories, and what a magical playoff story they would be on if, of course, big if, they win Game 7 against the Penguins. They'd be like just a unstoppable locomotive. How do you stop them at that point, you know? Unless they're just spent, like to your point earlier, Maddie.
Very true. Very, very true. You had the Rangers winning. I had the Ottawa Senators winning. But let's throw something out of left field here. Let's say screw our predictions and something else completely happens. say Nashville makes the Stanley Cup Finals and they face the Pittsburgh Penguins. Who wins that series?
I think Pittsburgh.
I'm going to say the Predators, believe it or not, because they have the defense to match their top goal scorers. Pittsburgh doesn't. And correct me if I'm wrong, isn't James Neal a current Nashville Predator?
He is.
Yes, he is.
Whoa.
Oh, James Neal.
There's your Conn Smythe.
Yeah. I remember that asshole. Yeah, I remember him very well.
It's hard to forget that asshole.
Not a big fan, but I mean, playing the former team, he'd have a lot of jam.
That is true. That is very, very true. It'd be like if you had Matt Cook in that series. There's another asshole for you.
I do feel like, though, if Pittsburgh does start Matt Murray, they're going to stick with Matt Murray, and Matt Murray could get Pittsburgh to the Stanley Cup Finals again.
Yeah, and I mean, that's been the whole plan all along. Fleury started this playoffs because Murray was hurt.
Right.
And he was hot in that first round and continued it early into the Capital Series. So it's like you can't take him out. He's hot. He's the hot hand. But the minute he faltered, then it's Matt Murray, because you have two starting goaltenders right now. But Pittsburgh is, stubborn, and I can see them sticking with Fleury too. Really quickly, did you have Anaheim Rangers in your Cup final prediction?
No. You had didn't have
I had
Anaheim.
Nashville in the Rangers.
You had Nashville.
You
in the
did have
Rangers.
Nashville, so you say Nashville beats Anaheim or beats Edmonton?
You see, it's tough. I could see it totally going either way.
Yeah.
If Anaheim makes it, I think we went based off of my original prediction.
Yes.
And if Anaheim wins Game 7, Anaheim will represent the West. But if Ottawa or the Oilers win, I think Nashville beats Ottawa or the Islanders or Oilers. Jesus Christ! Whatever team.
All right, they have the same
Whatever team
color
beats
scheme.
Anaheim.
I got
Edmonton-
you flustered.
Yeah, they have the same color scheme. It's okay to get them mixed up.
Right. No, I wanted to make sure I had my facts correct because I wanted to compliment you on your journalistic integrity there. It's hard, man. When my team's in any playoffs, any sport, let alone the Stanley Cup playoffs, it's, we're going to the Cup and you all suck. So I appreciate that. So what I want to ask you is, let's say it's Anaheim Rangers who's winning. If it's Anaheim, Washington, who's winning, and if it's Anaheim, Pittsburgh, any of the four scenarios.
Let's see, Anaheim versus Washington. I have Anaheim winning that. And the reason why is, again, I think they'll be too worn out to handle Anaheim. I think Anaheim will actually motivate and actually survive and thrive off of the Game 7. I think it will actually kill Washington's momentum.
Okay, so we're gonna go team by team here. So if Anaheim gets to the Stanley Cup and they play Washington, I do like their chances. I think it's going to go 7 games, but I do like Anaheim's chances.
Yeah.
If Anaheim has to play Pittsburgh, I think Pittsburgh will win. Anaheim just can't play well against the Penguins.
Yeah, I agree, sadly.
Same with the Rangers. If they play the Rangers win.
Ugh.
They don't play well against the Rangers. And then the Senators, history will repeat itself if they play the Senators in the Stanley Cup Finals.
So you would think that
that'd be a
Ray
good
Emery
story.
was in goal with the way that the Ottawa Senators would be playing. Okay. And Daniel Offerset was still captain.
But that'd be a cool Stanley Cup, though. Bobby Ryan facing his former team for the Cup, who already has one.
A rematch of the 2007 Stanley Cup Finals anyway.
We only have 2 players left on that roster from the 2017.
This is true, though, because there are still players on that Anaheim team. Ryan Getzlav being one of them. And was Corey Perry on that team?
Yes, he was. The only
All right.
2 left.
Nice. I know some Anaheim trivia. But anyway.
Yay!
Rob giving his broken Matt Hardy face. All right. Yes. So, I have that going there. Rob, what if Anaheim faced Pittsburgh?
I'm going to, you have experience. You said Anaheim has trouble with Pittsburgh.
They do.
I'll agree with you on that one. I'll concede to your point that Pittsburgh would defeat Anaheim, but, and this is the big but, what kind of Sidney Crosby are you getting? A guy that's gone through a concussion, that's been a lot of, very battered. That could have an effect on that series. But unfortunately, you have Evgeny Malkin that can certainly pick up the reins there and, really carry that team. So they have enough pieces there where I'll pick Pittsburgh in that scenario.
All right, then. Rangers?
I'm going to Anaheim. I really am, just because of Rangers had trouble with Montreal. Then they dispatched them. They're having trouble with the Senators. That's to be determined. I mean, Montreal measures up to Anaheim, right? Mostly, I'm having it now. Carey Price certainly bolsters that, that equitability there. But no, I'm going to go Anaheim with that. I really think that besides Carl Hagelin and what's his name? Chris Kreider.
Chris Kreider.
Who else matches up with Anaheim speed?
That's a very good question, actually. They don't have Benoit Pouliot.
Right.
They used to. If they did, then we wouldn't be debating this right now.
Yeah, Benoit Pouliot's showing his speed now.
Right.
So, yeah.
So, that's actually a very good point. I didn't think about that. That's a good one, Rob.
Thanks.
And then, quick, Ottawa versus Anaheim.
I'm going to Anaheim again.
All right, so we got our predictions there. All right, so that was fun. That'll do it for this edition of the Hockey Happy Hour. It is time for last call. When we come back next week, it will be time for us to talk about the conference finals as they would have started, because Game 7s are due to start in the next couple of days. Will Brian's team survive Game 7, snap their curse, and finally get back to the Western Conference Finals since 2 years ago? And
so
actually,
much pressure.
I know.
Delete!
Or will Edmonton show up for the first time in 07 to the Western Conference Finals? The predictions are endless, but that will be next week here on the Hockey Happy Hour, brought to you by Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. From all of us here, Matt Sudi, Brian Daly, Rob the Povey, we will see you all next week on A2DRadio.com.